What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Party Chat, the other side of games, where we hang out with people who also love video games, and we just talk about whatever we freaking want to talk about. I, first of all, want to say thank you so much to our merch store for backing up this episode. So if you want some new pieces of swag, if you want some new digs, please check out the BLE merch store. It's going to be in the content down below. As you can see, of course, Nate is back, Josh is back, but our special guest on this episode of Party Chat is Jessica Lynn Verdi. Now,
Nailed it.
I feel like people should know who you are, despite what you said in Game Chat. But for those who might not watch Game Chat, and Party Chat is like their favorite podcast ever.
Should be.
Who are you? Like, what are you doing here?
Can I use this opportunity to just say I'm having an absolute fantastic time with you all?
Yeah. Oh, please, hype us up.
No, I mean, just sweet men. I'm very grateful for your inclusivity and your sweetness. Why should people know me? I don't know, guys. I'm a human appreciator. That's why. People should know me because when I'm famous, you'll be like, holy shit, I knew that chick. Yeah, I was there. And then I'll be like, oh my God, I remember you. You were in the chat for Party Chat. Or you were in the chat. And I don't know. I think what I do really well is just say it how it is. I've been in this kick lately, like, okay, I'm very, like, you know how gender is a big conversation right now. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I've been on this kick of trying to explore, well, okay, I'm grateful that I was born in the body that I am in, and I like being a woman, because there was, like, a time when I was a kid, I was like, but what would it be like to be a boy? I'm a tomboy. What does that mean? But I like it being a woman, but there were, like, restrictions that were given to me by being one. You can't curse, you can't be unladylike, you can't fart, you can't burp, all these things. And then my Italian brothers got to do whatever the fuck they wanted. So I've been in an interesting exploration of, if I didn't have to be exactly perfect in order to be a female, what kind of female would I be? Yeah. And I wonder if that hurts my commercial ability or viability or sellability by not fitting into a box that people expect me to be. So if you want to follow me, you can expect an absolutely weird, genuine person that doesn't fit into a box.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Thank you for sharing that person with us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I feel totally fully accepted.
Good.
This is also my way of, like, going, I'm otherwise not interesting. How do I make my life way more complicated?
You sold it. Perfect. I'm all in. I'm hooked.
Let me throw this out there. Before we get into, like, our topics. So the way that Game Chat is structured, this sounds like I'm trying to put it on this pedestal, but I'm not. The guests are, like, lined up through the end of the year. And that's not just because, like, oh, so many people want to be on it.
No, you're super organized. I can tell.
Yeah, I try to be really on top of it. So I always feel bad when someone's like, hey, I want to be on. And I'm like, yeah, trust me. I know. You're on my list. I've just got you. I've planned out when I'm putting people in. So that said, there's also the point where, like, people are like, oh, we want this person to come back, or like, please have me back. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely want to have returning people on Game Chat, but I also want to be respectful to those who have been waiting.
Yeah, totally.
Party Chat, though, is one of those new things where there is literally no structure. Well, there is structure, because, like, we have, like, show notes and things like that.
Because we know who you are in terms of your organization.
Right.
There can't not be structure.
There's definitely structure.
You'd probably be, I mean, you probably are and get paid to do this. You'd probably be a great project manager, though.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Yeah, that's a skill. It is not something that comes naturally. Yeah, I can imagine.
That feels good in my heart.
Some people keep the engine going. Some people get the idea part going. Yeah. You know, and yeah, you're the structure boy.
I don't know how to take compliments, but we're.
And it's not a compliment. It's just an objectivity thing.
Objectivity.
How about that?
That's good. That's a good thing to note here. All right.
When I
So
send you your weekly I love you text, I'm going to be like, hey, you are objectively awesome. And then you can't get awkward and tell me no. So,
yeah.
Thank you, Jessica, for a new way to handle Asa. I
You're
appreciate
so
it.
welcome.
Now that we've handled housekeeping, this is where we would get into questions for our guest. And this is where I'm going to be incredibly transparent and say, again, just like last week and the week before, I didn't drop it on our patrons and the people in the Discord until a few hours before the show, not giving people time to come up with questions. But I've got a question for you before we get into our topic of the show. Without diving too deep, don't think about it. Jessica, what is your dream improv situation to be in? And like, and put it in like a 10-word answer. Boil it down so that way nobody has any idea the backstory. They just want to get a snapshot into you. What's your ideal improv situation?
Do you mean... I don't know what you mean.
No explanation.
Oh, okay, great.
Take it as you get it.
Got
Improv,
it.
Are you kidding me? Come on. Let's go.
I know!
Yes, and?
I am at upfronts for NBC or CBS or ABC or whatever, presenting the improv TV shows that I have created.
Awesome.
Awesome.
That's the whiteboard moment. Put it on there. It's happening.
Oh, I saw it on a Molly trip I had 5 years ago. I was like, this is my life goal.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily a drug that makes you do that, but I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. So
That's how you know it's destined.
yeah, this is my destiny. And Heartbeats was the first tick on that. So
Yeah. Well, awesome. We have spoken it into existence. It's gonna happen.
yeah. Oh, I know it. I know it.
I love the confidence. It's all awesome.
right.
Oh yeah. Thanks.
But it's
course.
time for our topic of the show. Of course.
Asa, may I interject real quick? I know you have a topic. I know you've got everything.
Go ahead. Kill my
But I
flow,
would be
Josh.
remiss
Do it.
if I didn't tease the audience beforehand.
Okay, tease
For
it.
you sharing your name
Yeah.
with Jessica. I would hate for
Oh,
people
no,
to
but
watch Game Chat
we have
and
to
be
do
like,
this.
whoa, what's Asa's full name?
I
It's
know.
amazing. That's what I've been told by Josh, and I don't want that to be put out there. So please, before we get in, what's your full name?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to do that. I was going to change. I know I put voice acting as my topic for the show, but I was going to put that. I was going to talk about it. But
Well,
I trust you. I just wanted to make sure.
no, you're
We
fine.
can
You're
still
fine.
talk about voice acting because I guess you don't know. Anyway, we'll talk about
Yeah,
voice acting. anyway.
Keeping in mind that we have like 10 minutes.
Well, see you guys later.
Yeah. So
Part 2.
the topic of the show, of course, where all the panelists brings a topic of a discussion and we just have a good time hanging out, talking about whatever. My name. So I go by Asa. Obviously, it's short. People can get it. Well, you would think. But my full first name is Asa Nanica. And it means the Star Child. I am Comanche, more specifically Quahati Comanche. And I think, and this is just like a random fun fact, I think the worst that anybody has ever messed up my full first name. Because like when it comes to Asa, I get Asa, Asia, Asa, Asa, like all of the whole gamut, like you would just expect that.
The vowels.
Yeah, the vowels. And then like when it comes to Asa and Annika though, like you kind of don't know what you're always going to get. But the wildest one that I ever got was senior year of high school. We had a substitute art teacher, which that's just a great time. And they're like reading through, and I literally always know when someone's not sure how to pronounce my name. Like when I got my COVID shot, they're like, and they're like looking at me. They're totally just like profiling because they know like, okay, it's totally that guy. Look at the sea of white people and the one brown man. It's
the brown guy.
It's the brown guy. And so the substitute.
I would love to be there with you and be like, that's me.
And I just I just know. I let them like squirm, and I'm like, say it. Do it.
Your racist is showing. I can see it right now.
Yeah, come on, let me hear it. So this teacher's looking around and like is doing the whole like stop and then looking like, who is this?
Stalling.
And then goes, Anastasia Green River? And I'm like,
So close.
okay, so
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, so Asa Nanica is Asananica. Anastasia, Anstasia, I think.
Wow.
There's no T. That was always my thing, is there's no T. Where did you get Anastasia from?
You know where she got it from?
Blown.
Her fucking anxiety.
Yeah.
The panic, the sweat. Spit stains.
And she was like, all right, Pixar, DreamWorks. Let's go with the DreamWorks movie. Okay. Anastasia.
Was Anastasia DreamWorks?
I'm pretty sure Anastasia was DreamWorks before DreamWorks did 3D. No, hold on.
Now it's Disney, though.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, that's why I know, because it was Fox, but now she's technically a Disney princess.
I'm almost because I didn't think DreamWorks was happening at that time.
The toy was a Burger King toy. And so it was
there we go.
Dang it.
Nate.
Disney was McDonald's.
Where
it was 20.
Where have you been my whole life? That kind of knowledge.
I have been keeping these random facts ready to share with you and the world. So
this beautiful vocabulary that always makes me happy to hear.
Wow.
Oh. I had something that would help me not make typos on my emails and stuff, and it would go through and go, how respondable is your email? And always my emails are college level writing. I'm very proud of that, especially because standard is 7th grade, and so I always got to dumb it down. When I learned that newspapers were 7th grade reading, I was like, what the fuck am I doing in school then? If that's the standard, why is this the case? I'll share you my little name story. It's not obviously as egregious as yours, but I had just guested on one of my first or second show on a Easy Allies game or Easy Allies show, and it coincided with their anniversary party that they threw at the USC campus. Very random, but because I'm friends with Brandon Jones's wife, she was like, can you help us? We'll pay you $100 if you work the door or whatever. So I was just getting to be known by the community, but really in reality I was there to work. And this kid rolls up late and everyone's hustling to get in, and I'm working the crowd, everything was great, and he goes, Jessica Lynn Verdi? He was so starstruck. I know, but you could just see that he knew who I was. He was overwhelmed. And I went, Verdi, come on in, buddy. It was Vernay. But at the same time, it was probably the first time someone has recognized me in a sense. Emotions. There was a lot going on, and it was very sweet. Oh, Fast and Furious is super fun. That was the one I did was Mysterious Monsters that I think you had just seen me on, which is you guys, for those of you who like these game trivia, gameplay stuff, you would love that game. If they ever do it again, you should do it. If they do it remotely, I don't think they do though.
Also, shout out to in the Twitch chat, Roro. I've been called Russia before, and his name is Roshan, but that's, you can see it, the spelling in the chat. So another reason why, if you're watching this on YouTube or listening to podcast services, if you miss it live, and there are only certain episodes that'll be live, you could be in this. But
I would, if they had done Russian, I would feel a little bit better about it than just Russia.
Oh,
for his name.
Russia, that
you know what I
makes
mean?
no sense. Put the N on the end. You're right. Say Russia.
But it's happening.
Be better.
Well, speaking as a white person who experiences anxiety over doing the wrong thing, or at least used to, right? I know that our anxiety can get us out of, I'm going to fuck it up. I don't know. Or it will make mistakes happen. But the thing is, there's nothing wrong with going, I am sorry, I don't know how to pronounce this. Please tell me how to pronounce your name.
Yeah.
And then don't ask a second time. But if you still don't remember, I'm sorry, please pronounce your name for me again.
Yeah.
It's very important. People's names are important. And I'm just lucky that I was born in a year where Jessica was the most used name. That's so it's just easy to go, please tell me how to say your name properly. I had a good teacher in junior college who's like you say, I say Asa, just keep it simple. He's like, no, make me say your fucking full name. That's your name. Don't shorten it to make it easy for me. Which I loved that too. Again, be called as you want to be called, but don't make it easier for somebody.
Oh yeah.
Just because you want, it's uncomfortable for them.
There was one time I was doing an internship for a film festival, and there's a whole bunch of people staying in this, the local college dorm that were empty over the summer. And there was this kid there. He was from China, and he was just he was trying to get home, but he needed to make a bunch of connections. And I think he was 7. No, he was 18, and people wouldn't let him book a hotel. And his English wasn't very good. And I felt really bad, and he's freaking out and he doesn't know what to do. So I, on his behalf, I start calling people. We finally get a place, and I had to do that, like, let me speak to your manager kind of thing, which I'm not a huge fan of. But
my name is Karen. Can I talk to him? Yeah.
Right. It was just like, hey, you're telling me you're not going to. Anyways, that got solved. We got him a place so he could eventually start going home. But the thing that really got me was just that, like, he was thanking me and I was asking him his name and he said, like, Paul. And I was like, okay, but your name's not Paul. Like, I know your name is not Paul. He goes, no, you won't be able to say it. And I was like, try me. And he told me his name, and I feel bad because it was a long time ago. I don't remember his name.
But in the moment,
yeah. And I was able to say his name, and just the look on his face of just like, you could tell he hasn't heard his own name the entire time he's been here. Jeez. Unless he's talking. And like, I just felt, and I said his name, and he just gave me the most warm hug I've ever had in my entire life. And I started to cry a little bit. I just felt so bad for him. Yeah. It's just his name. And the fact that, like, I think we've all been in a college not observatory, lecture hall, where like the professor like picks people's names because they don't want to say them. Like, and I think times are changing. But people's identity matters, and just to go just the fraction of an extra like step to say someone's name, I think is just so important.
I was young, 16, high school, and there was a kid named Tyreek who was from Pakistan. Totally American, but from Pakistan. And the group that I was in called him Paki because he's from Pakistan. Right. And I didn't know. And you just call him Paki because everyone was calling him Paki. And my mother, who's not perfect, said, do not call him Paki. And I said, Mom, but that's what you call him. He knows that. That's okay. You call him by his name. And I was just so upset that I was getting called out for something I didn't know I was doing because everyone was doing it. And so from that point on, though, whether I realized it or not, I made a concerted effort to call him Tyreek. And very similarly, he quietly told me, it really means a lot to me that you say my name. Yeah. Even though he was taking the Paki because that was, at least he was getting along and not bumping the water or anything. But that's it's a really impactful story that you have there, Josh, because there's a tribe that when someone is born in the tribe, I believe it's in Africa, not obviously, but I don't know very much more about the story. When a child is born, there's a song that the mother creates for them. While the child is being born, they sing that song of their name. When the child's hurt, they sing that song of their name. When they're in trouble, they sing that song of their name. When they're getting married, they're singing. So like, you are nurturing that person from life to death. It's us, whether we realize it or not. And that's why we have the freedom to change our name if we don't like it. Because it's the energy for which we are being called. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
My fiance and I have talked because we're talking about getting married and like, was she going to take my name and everything? And for a long time, I had that stupid thing in my head, like, oh, well, like, I want you to have my last name. Like, that's cool. Like, that means something. But the more I learned, like, her name means so much to her. Like, she's Irish. Her last name's O'Donnell. Like, there's so much about her heritage she knows and how much she cares. And it was in hearing that and taking it, as like, who cares? Like, you having my stupid last name, which people are going to call you buttock or bite dick for, is not worth like you losing this piece of yourself. Like, my name is special to me because like when I go out on shows, I'm Josh Biddick. Like, that's how I identify myself with, and it means something to me. I'm not going to ever take that away from someone else, because like I had some super machizo, like, when realistically it was some old way of saying like you're a piece of property. Like, that's not, I don't know.
Yeah. Names are important. And to be fair, there's a part of me that's still open to having my name changed for that reason. Like, because it's a gesture, but it's a conversation, right? And I didn't know this, but my grandfather had changed his original last name because he was abandoned by his actual father at a young age. So Verdi was actually Father Verdi, who was the priest he got to know as a young man. So there's a lot of secret around that life story, and my grandfather was not a perfect person either. But I've always gone, really, Verdi? Is this do I like it? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So there's a part of me that's just ready to like shed it, or absorb it. But it is a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So it's amazing how the antiquated thoughts can override actual identity or reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roro's right. For just a conversation,
talking
mutual respect.
Same thing with kids too. Like when it comes to like who's, and this is something like I hadn't even thought about until my wife brought it up. Was like, what if, one day like Link's last name was not your, or what if in some world like Link's last name was not your, like it wasn't Green River, like it was her maiden name. And at first it like shocked me, like that culture shock of, wow, that's not anything I had ever thought of. Right. But when she's like, I carried him for 9 months, like I went through that stress, both, mentally and physically, and just everything that comes with childbirth, pre, post, and during, and everything. I was like, okay, that makes sense. And there's still like, I still feel like those reservations, and it's hard to get over that, because then it's also like, oh, well, he's my son too. Like I want to share like a namesake, but then it got into that conversation. Sorry, I'm like now going tangentially, but it was such an interesting conversation. So I say that also to say, like, I think have a conversation about your kid's last name too. Like, don't just assume that automatically it's going to be this. Have that conversation.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Yeah. It's all sorts. It's all sorts of things, and I'm actually cool with the fact that all we did for the show was talk about this, because I think it's something we can all relate to.
Yeah.
But
and you'll be back.
I mean, here's what I garnered from you saying that this is a free-form show, that I'll be joining you shortly in the next anytime you have 30 minutes. I'll be like, okay, hey, guess what? I'm around and free. Let's go. So that's easy for me. And I'll be sure to take the rails off of any show if you ever need it.
Yeah, absolutely.
The show's too formatted. We need something a little crazy. We need a wild card. Where's Jessica?
Jessica!
Like, you're not even in the Zoom call. You just, like, pop in. I'm here. I've been listening the whole time.
I ingratiate myself in the weirdest ways, and you caught on quickly. So.
Yeah. There you go. Well, for those who haven't caught on, and they need to catch on to what you're doing and everything that you are, where can people find you?
I would say the best glimpse of my life right now is to go into my Twitch. Go to twitch.tv/Jessica Nerdy. It rhymes with Verdi, but it's spelled Nerdy. And I play games, and I yell, and sometimes I hurt my friends' ears because of how much I yell. And I think that's the best way to, or go to twitch.tv/Ripley Improv to check out a lot of the really awesome long-form narrative improv shows that we're doing over there.
Awesome. And Nate and Josh, before I get to where people can find you, I don't want to disregard, just because Party Chat is just a party we're all just hanging out. I want to get to Shotgun McPain's chat real quick. That's the problem I've had all my life, where I don't really identify with my stepdad's family, so I've always thought about changing it back to my original name. So thank you so much, Shotgun McPain, for sharing that and just being a part of the show.
It's so hard to change your name, and I know that from friends who, get rid of their dead name and change it for their life, legally change to their actual name when they transition, or even like to get their gender changed. There's so it's a very prohibitive thing. They make it very hard to do that. Yeah.
So, thank you again so much for sharing, Jessica. Thank you for being on the show. Nate, Josh, where can people find you once the camera's shut off?
Nate.
Oh, once the camera shut off, well, when I hack into my Nest camera, you'll be watching me do a lot of quilting, a lot of Netflixing, sometimes I make food, and I'm just kidding. You can find me at the Nate Pretzel on all social media, where I will be doing all the things I just said you could creep on, so.
I'm not as funny as Nate. I wish I would. And if anything I'd said at this point, I think would just be stealing from him. So I'll just say, you can find me at Josh Piddick, my name, which is precious to me, pretty much on all social medias. I think I've got most of it. There's some Josh Piddicks that are like gross dude bros, and that's not me. You want the guy with the big hair, the glasses, this beautiful mug, and you'll be happy, I hope.
And you can find me at agreenriver07. But if you want to follow anybody, please follow Borderline Entertainment on all of your social media platforms, your YouTube, your Twitch, your podcast services, wherever you consume media, we are there. But thank you again, Jessica, so much for hanging out with us today. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out on the live chat. Again, shout out to BLE merch, but also shout out to our patrons for making Party Chat a thing, period. So we will see you all next time. Be well.